All right, so this is February 8th homework. It's all about circles. So the first question here, it's asking to identify the radius or radii on this figure. So anything that starts with O is a radius. So O, any direction. O, A is a radius, right? O, D is a radius. OC is a radius and OB is a radius. Okay, so anything that starts from the center to on the circle is a radius. So OA, OD, OC, and OB. Okay, diameters is the line that cuts the circle in half, passing through the center. So AB is a diameter and CD is a diameter. Okay, EF is not a diameter. It does not pass through the center. It does not cut the circle in half. Okay. All right. The second question here, classify each figure as a radius diameter. Indicate if more than one term applies. Okay. So again, we start x dot xy. Xy cuts the circle in half. So xy does this, goes through the center, cuts the circle in half. So xy is d for diameter. WZ is starts from the center and goes to the circle. So that's a radius. So R for radius. Okay. And WY is also a radius because it starts from the center. The center is W and it goes to the circle. So that's also a radius. Okay. All right, so 8 and 9 is going to ask for the radius and diameter. So here the line that cuts the circle in half passes through the center and goes from side to side, from A to B, cuts the circle in half. So AB is the diameter. So diameter here is 16 kilometers. And the radius is half of that. Radius is half a diameter. So from the center to here is one radius. So half of that is 8 kilometers. Okay, here, number 9, this is a radius. So R is 11 meters because it starts from the center and goes here to the circle. So think of it as OA is a radius. So diameter is twice that. So diameter is 2 times 11, which is 22 meters. Okay. So two radiuses put together, they create or they make a diameter. So if I was to extend this line to here, that becomes a diameter, and each one is 11, and two of them make 22. Okay. All right. So let me scroll up. All right. So next question here, we are given us a circle, and there's a line that goes from the center. So that line that goes from here to here, put the center O to, let's say, A, makes the radius. So the radius is 6.35 centimeters. And the diameter is two radiuses put together. So if I was to do another one this way, and it would be also 6.35, together they make a diameter. So diameter is twice 6.35. Okay, and that's 1270 centimeters. So the diameter is 12.70 centimeters. In this picture, they give me the diameter, the line that cuts the circle in half. So the diameter is 26, which means the radius is a diameter divided by 2. Half a diameter is a radius. So we take 26 divided by 2. So the radius is 13 kilometers. Okay. All right, number 12 says, write the ratio of pi of a circle whose circumference is V units and whose diameter is W. Okay. And number 13 asks the same thing. Write the ratio of pi of a circle whose circumference is C and whose radius is r. Okay, so let's write what we know about circumference. Circumference is equal to 2 times pi times the radius. Okay, also 2 times the radius, we know that as a diameter, so we can also write it as d times pi. So the circumference is d times pi, or circumference is 2 pi r. Okay, so they want pi, to write pi as a ratio of circumference v and diameter w. So just honestly, they're just using different variables. So the circumference is v. So v is circumference equal, all right? And the diameter is w, okay? So the diameter is w times pi, okay? So they just, this is a silly question. I don't even like it. They're just gonna confuse you, but they just want you to replace the variables. Instead of c, put v. Instead of d, put w, okay? And then write, what would pi be equal to? So pi is equal to, if I divide both sides by w, to isolate pi, I want pi all by itself. So I divide both sides by w, here it cancels, so I'm left with pi equal to v over w. That's what they want you to do, write it with different variables. I wouldn't worry about that, okay? But that's the answer to that question. Same thing for 13, except here, they're not using any crazy variables. They want you to keep the same variables. So here, radius is r, circumference is c, and pi. Write the ratio of pi. So they want you to write pi equals, okay? And the equation for circumference is c equals to 2 times pi times r. I want to isolate pi. I want pi all by itself, okay? So I divide both sides by 2r. Okay, both sides by 2r. The 2 cancel the 2, the r cancel the r. I'm left with pi equals to c over 2 times the radius. Okay. And it's just a matter of, you know, playing with the variable, isolating which one they're asking for. So they ask you to isolate pi on both questions. Okay. Okay, 14, estimate the circumference of the circle below. When you hear the word estimate, what they want you to do is estimate the pi. They want you to use pi equals 3.14. We know pi, that number goes on forever, but we estimate pi. So we just use 3.14. So what's the circumference here? The circumference is c equals to 2 times pi times the radius. And here the diameter is 6 centimeters, which means the radius is half of that, it's 3 centimeters. So they give you the diameter, the radius is 3. So C here would be 2 times 3.14 times the radius, which is 3 centimeters. And you just put that in the calculator. Same thing for this question. C is equal to 2 times pi times the radius. 2 times 3.14, and the radius in this case is 2 centimeters, and just put that in the calculator, okay? And let me scroll up. So number 16, the circle below has a circumference of 36 inches. Find the diameter, estimate the diameter, estimate the radius, okay? So we know the circumference. They give us the circumference. From that, we need to find the radius and the diameter. So we know that the circumference is equal to 2 times pi times the radius. Okay, so let's isolate the radius. Okay, circumference is 36. They tell us what the circumference is. So C is 36 equals 2 times pi times the radius. Let's isolate the radius. We get the radius, then from that we get the diameter. So let's divide both sides by 2 pi to get the radius all by itself. Okay. So here it cancels. I am left with R is equal to 36 divided by 2 pi, which is 2 times 3.14. Okay. And then I put that in my calculator. So okay, I get a radius equal to 5.73 inches. So R is 5.73 inches, which means the diameter is 2 times that. 2 times 5.73. Okay, and that should give me 11.46 inches. So that should be the diameter. Okay, diameter is twice the radius. All right, let's do the same thing for 17. The car tire has a radius of 24 inches. Estimate how far the car will travel in one rotation. So here you have to imagine that you have a tire, right? And the tire is going to make one rotation. So imagine it's like going around the tire once. If it makes one rotation, means it's going to turn once. So if it turns once, means you're going to go around the tire one time. Well, if I go around the tire one time, what is that? That's the circumference, right? So C is equal to 2 times pi times the radius. And the radius is 24, so C equals to 2 times 3.14 times the radius is 24 inches. And really just calculator work, okay? So let me put that in the calculator. So I got times 24. I get 150.72 inches. Is it in inches? Yes, inches. Okay, so the tire going around once. One rotation means you go around, the tire goes around once. So that's the circumference, okay? All right, so that's the homework for February 8th.